Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, we are going to see how we can create Docker images using by Dockerfile. So for this, I want to utilize this Visual Studio Code editor, and we have already a folder open here, Docker stuff, and I'm going to create a file over here with the name called Dockerfile. Okay, so if you want to create images by the Dockerfile, you need to create a file with this name actually. So the Dockerfile, the nomenclature should be the same. D, first letter should be capital, and then remaining letters all should be small. And we need to provide the file name as Dockerfile. Then only the Docker will try to identify, and it will try to build the Docker image based on the instructions what you have provided in this file. All right, so we have just created a file with the name Dockerfile, and this is the file that we are going to edit to build the Docker image, right? So Dockerfile is a file. In that file, we need to instruct the Docker engine to build the image. So basically, we need to provide some instruction to the Docker daemon to create the image. So we'll see only the basic instruction commands in this Docker file. And going forward, so we are going to create a Jenkins container, running the Jenkins inside a Windows Docker container, and running the PostgreSQL database inside a Docker Windows Docker container. So at that time, we'll see the advanced options of this Docker file. So for now, we'll go with the very basic ones. Once the file completion is created, then we'll try to build the image, and we'll see how we can share the images with other people's. Like we can create a registry inside the Docker Hub. Once the registry is created, how we can push the image to the Docker registry, and how we can share the links to download the image. All right, so without further ado, let's start this one. And for this, we have to provide some instructions to this file actually. So the instruction is like, first instruction always from. So we need to specify the base image. From what is the base image that you want to run this image? And the image name is mcr.microsoft.com/windows/server core:/LTSC 2019. Okay, this is the base image that I want to take. And the next instruction, run instruction, I want to use. So I want to create a folder inside the Docker container, inside the Docker image with this run command. Run instruction, it will try to execute the command. Whatever the command that you are providing to this run instruction, it will try to execute. So try to understand, guys, the instruction from is one instruction and run is another instruction. So whatever the instructions that we are calling, so those we have to represent within capital letters. All right, so from within capital letters, run within capital letters. And what is the command to create the folder inside the container? It is mkdir. And what is the folder? At which location? At C Prasad. So this is the folder that I want to create. So once the folder is created, I want to copy a file from my host operating system to the Docker container. So for that, I can use copy module and copy is the module. And what is the file name? So the file name is Windows_copy_test.txt. This file I want to copy inside the Docker container at this location, C Prasad. and save this file and try to understand, guys. So the path of the windows, I'm just using a double slash because single slash, it is not going to work. We need to escape the slash character. That's the reason we need to put one more slash before that. So if you put a single slash like this, it's not going to work. So we have to do like this. Okay. So once this file is saved, let's go to the PowerShell. Docker images. As of now, we have only one image, ls-l, ls, and here you can see the Docker file is there. And apart from that, this file is there, windows copy underscore test.txt. How we can create an image from this Docker file? Once the Docker file is created, we need to execute this command, docker build. We are building a Docker image and we need to provide a name to the image actually. So win underscore image underscore by Dockerfile. So we'll provide like this. So Windows image by Dockerfile, and where is your Dockerfile, that you need to specify. So in order to build the image, first of all, you need to go to the location where the Dockerfile exists. And then from the folder itself, you need to execute this command, docker build, and -t stands for tag. We are just providing a name to this. And then where is your Dockerfile? Dot. In the present working directory, look for a file called Dockerfile. Let's execute. There you go. Sending build context to the Docker daemon. This Dockerfile instruction is going to send to the Docker daemon, and the Docker daemon will try to create the Docker image. Let's wait for it. There you go, it started. You can see we have just provided only 3 instructions, right? So if you count the instructions, from is 1 instruction, run is 2nd instruction, copy is 3rd instruction. So we have provided only 3rd instructions, 3 instructions. That's the reason it's displaying step 1 by 3, step 2 by 3, and step 3 by 3 going forward. And in the step 1 by 3, what it is doing? From instruction. So whatever the instruction that you have provided inside the Docker file, it is executing. And step 2 by 3. So what is the 2nd instruction that you have provided in the Docker file? It is executing the 2nd instruction. And it is executing the 2nd instruction. Once it is completed, then it will go for the 3rd instruction. Okay, let's wait for it. There you go. All the instructions, it is complete, execution is completed. And finally, you can see the success message, successfully built. And this is the image ID and successfully tagged. And we have just tagged this image like win image by Dockerfile, and tag is latest. First, let's go through this output actually. So once you execute this docker build command, what is happening backend? What is happening behind the scenes? So as you instructed in the Docker file, first it will take the first instruction and it will try to execute that first instruction. Once the instruction of the first instruction is completed, then it will go to the 2nd instruction. Once that is completed, then it will go to 3rd instruction. And once all the instruction is completed, with all the instruction executions, it will try to create a final image. Okay, but when it will take the first instruction, what will happen? It will try to execute, right? Whatever the instruction that you have provided, it will try to execute. Where it will execute? If you want to execute, we need a platform, right? So we need to have one operating system to execute any process. So at this point, look at this. This is the first instruction that we have provided inside the Docker file. And from that, it is, let's say it's generated a hash. And once 2nd instruction is started, where it is started? Running in, it's generated some hash number. And once that is completed, removing intermediary container. And once 3rd instruction is started, it will run in an intermediary container. What it means, let's go to the Dockerfile and we'll try to explain. First, the docker build command will take the first instruction. Once the first instruction is completed, let's say this is a from instruction, right? So from instruction won't run on any container, because from instruction is an instruction. It will try to gather the image information, and once that is done, second instruction is there, run instruction is there. This particular run instruction will try to execute in an intermediary container. So from the output we can see clearly, you can see removing intermediary container. For each instruction it will try to create an intermediary container. In that intermediary container it will try to execute the command, whatever the run instruction that you have provided. Once the execution is completed, it will try to build an image and the intermediary container will be deleted. So that is happened over here. All three instructions, it is executed successfully, and finally it is generated an image. Let's see Docker images. There you go, 3 images we have. This is how we can create the Docker images using the Dockerfile. Don't worry, this is very basic Docker image, and going forward we are going to see the advanced options. All right, so the next thing is, once the image is created, you know how to launch a container from it, right? Docker run command using. And I want to share this image to the Docker registry. Let's go to the browser and let's sign in. I have created my account in this Docker Hub. Okay, I just logged in. If I go to my profile here, I can see, so these are all the images that are currently I'm owning. Okay, so we'll try to create a new repository over here. If you click on the repository here, you can see the repositories of it. Let's create a new repository, and repository name win repo. This repository, just add a description to this, will hold the Windows Docker image, and you have to specify whether it is publicly available or whether it is private. So if it is a private, we need to pay for some amount. So I always go with the public because it's a free of cost. And then you can click on create. So once you created this repository, we need to upload the image, whatever the image that you have created, to this repository or the registry using this command, docker push command. All right, so we'll as of now here you can see there is no images available. This is an empty repository. Okay, just try to push the image from the Windows machine to here. Let's do that. Okay, once you create this repository, then we need to go to the terminal, and from this terminal, so we need to authenticate with your repository. So to authenticate with that, so you have to use Docker login command to log into your account. Here you can see, once you execute this Docker login, it's providing, if you don't have a Docker ID, head over to this https hub.docker.com website and then create one. So we already have our ID. Let me pass the credentials, and I'm just providing the password to log in. Once you provide the correct information, you can see the login success. So once you logged in successfully, then we need to assign a tag to this image. So Docker tag is the command to tag, and then you need to provide the image ID. This is the image ID, and this is the local image ID that you have to provide. And you need to tag this local image ID to the repository name, and then you can push the image to the repository. So now we are tagging the local image to the repository. Okay, so what is the repository name? And this is the repository name. Copy and then paste over here, and then colon latest. I want to use the tag name is latest. Just execute this. Okay, the image is tagged. Here you can see Docker images. So a new images got created with this Subhani Prasad /win repo, and the tag is latest one. And finally, once the image is tagged, then you can push it. Docker push, and this is the image Subhani Prasad /win repo, and then the tag is latest. So once you provided this name, you can push this image to the repository. Okay, it started uploading. Let's wait for it. Okay, it is completed. Go back to the repository and then refresh over here. There you can see. Just now, with the latest tag, that is a Windows image, we just uploaded to the repository. This is how we can create a repository and we can upload the local images to the repositories. But this is a public repository. But when you are working in an organization, you need to create a private repositories. So if you're using any cloud providers like AWS and Azure, so they are providing the services to create the private repositories. Just go through that and create a private repository and try to upload a file. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video.